Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. And now, coming to the mic, your host, Jalen Walker.
Welcome to Pound for Pound, the MMA podcast. I'm your host, Jalen Walker. If you're listening to the podcast via Spotify, Apple Music, or any other streaming platforms, please make sure and check us out on YouTube and click that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, the day is finally here. UFC 259, 3 title fights, all in one night. Yes, you heard that correct. 3 title fights, all in one night. We have the Bantamweight title up for grabs, the women's Flyweight title up for grabs, and then the men's Light Heavyweight title. It could be possibly one of the greatest UFC events of all time. We haven't had a triple header since, I think, a year or two ago. But, man, it's going to be insane. And on top of everything, the main event features Jan Blachowicz, the current UFC Light Heavyweight Champion of the world, and the Last Stylebender, Israel Adesanya, who is the current Middleweight Champion of the world, who comes up to fight Jan at Light Heavyweight. Adesanya weighed in at 201. Jan weighed in at, I believe it was 205, right on the weight. But exciting. And we'll break it all down and much more. But first, a word from our sponsor. So, Manscaped is the official electric trimmer of the UFC, and they support athletes like Max Holloway, Francis Ngannou, and Sugar Sean O'Malley. Manscaped is changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0. The Perfect Package 3.0 includes their Premier Lawnmower 3.0 trimmer. The ceramic blade and skin-safe technology is designed to reduce nicks or tugs on your fellas down low. For all of our international listeners out there, we have just launched their life-changing products all around the world, so check for your country. Inside the Perfect Package 3.0, you'll also get the Crop Preserver deodorant for below the belt, and it's anti-chafing and moisturizing. You'll also find the Crop Reviver toner, which is an aloe vera infused cologne for below the belt. For a limited time, subscribers get one, buy 2 gifts: the Shed Travel Bag at a $39 value and the patented high-performance anti-chafing Manscaped Boxers. Remember, get 20% off plus free shipping with code POUNDFORPOUND at manscaped.com. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code POUNDFORPOUND at manscaped.com. And I would also like to mention, every purchase at manscaped.com goes towards contributions made towards Testicular Cancer Society to bring awareness to the epidemic. But yeah, very exciting. Thank you, Manscaped. They've been very busy with the UFC lately. But yeah, talk about UFC. Before we get into the fight card, I have to talk some news. UFC shockingly released Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos this week. Surprised a lot of people. I was surprised but not shocked. But man, I did not think it was going to happen. Dana's been talking about getting the 700-person roster down. But man, it was just a really big shock because I love Overeem and Junior Dos Santos. Overeem was more like, wow, Overeem's gone. But Dana had this to say: nothing happened behind the scenes. They're both great guys who have had incredible careers. First of all, people get cut every week. I think those two are pretty self-explanatory. It's nothing negative. It's just part of the sport. If you look up what they've done recently, you look at their age, you look at everything that's going on, it's pretty self-explanatory. But yeah, like I said, it's sad. It's upsetting. I'm not happy about it, but I totally understand why. But hopefully moving forward, we see Overeem and Junior Dos Santos in some other organizations, hopefully Bellator or something like that. But I hope the best for both of them, and I thank them. And shout out to Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem. Jon Jones has been tweeting about the fight tonight. He thinks Jan is going to knock out Adesanya. A lot of people do. I think Adesanya is the not the betting favorite in this fight tonight, but I don't know. I think Jon Jones needs to be quiet. You ran from light heavyweight to go to heavyweight. If Jon Jones will most likely come back if Israel Adesanya wins tonight. I don't think Jan would automatically get a rematch because this is his first title defense, but we'll see. I'm just thinking about it right now. I honestly, okay, let's not get too excited about it. We'll talk about it here in a second, but incredible fight, hopefully. Conor McGregor, he's been playing tweet and delete with Nate Diaz. I'm not going to get too much into it, but it's just interesting seeing how Conor McGregor's come back down to possibly fight someone like Nate Diaz. Not a discredit to Nate Diaz, but beating Nate Diaz is not going to project Conor farther to the title. It will help, but it's not going to be a major jump like beating Dustin would have been. But it's fun. I would like to see Nate Diaz versus Conor McGregor 3. I think the whole world would, and it'd be very interesting. But yeah, some other news. There's really nothing else crazy going on in UFC. Other than the releases. But yeah, everything's going smooth. But so let's go ahead and break down this insane fight card. Okay. So starting out the night, this is the first fight of the main event. You guys ready for this? Thiago Santos versus Alexander Rakic at light heavyweight. Ladies and gentlemen, Thiago Santos is one of the best light heavyweights in the world. I mean, he's 21-8. Santos is currently the second best fighter out of the light heavyweight division. He's also on a 2-fight skid, but has been against 2 excellent fighters such as Glover Teixeira and then Jon Jones. And we all know how the Jon Jones fight was. Great fight, went the full distance. Santos tends to strategically rotate fight to fight between absolutely wild aggression and has more patient counter-striking. But against the talented wrestler in Alexander, I think the calmer, well-relaxed approach makes a lot more sense. If Santos is too high with his crazy offense, he may end up on the bottom, which will not work out in his favor, much like with Anthony Smith. Instead, Santos has to move to his feet and break Rakic down. When faced with a striker sharper than himself, Rakic really doubled down on his wrestling. So I think so basically what I'm trying to say is Santos, stand up. He just needs to stand and just go for it. He needs to throw as many combinations as he can, hit him in the body, open up the head, hit him with some leg kicks, go for that calf kick that everyone's going for these days. He really needs to break down Alexander so Alexander's takedown offense is weakened into the form where Thiago is more comfortable to open up and drop his guard and try to get those finishing hits. But Alexander Rakic, he's 13-2. He's currently ranked as the 4th best fighter in the light heavyweight division, and he's coming off a unanimous decision victory against Anthony Smith back in August of 2020. So it's been a little since he's fought, but he needs to swing just like I said Santos needs to, because he needs to protect himself and protect the fury of punches that Santos is going to be throwing at him, and he needs to throw back. So he lets Santos know, hey, I can tag you too. So he's cautious. Because with Santos backing up, knowing that he needs to be a little bit cautious, Alexander can get in there and get the double leg, the single leg, put him up against the fence, get a nice little takedown. But in this fight, Rakic's best opportunity will be taking Santos to the ground. Santos is a Muay Thai professional. He is a master of that sport. So I'm very interested to see which side is going to play out. And maybe the tables turn. Maybe Thiago wrestles against Alexander, and Alexander only punches. Like, we never know. So very exciting. But both fighters are in the top 5. It's really hard to call this, but I think Santos is going to come out with insane pressure, and I think he's going to catch Alexander with one of them. So I'm going to go ahead and take Santos wins via TKO. All right. On to the next fight at lightweight. Islam Makhachev versus Drew Dober. Islam, he's also going to have Khabib Nurmagomedov in his corner, which is very exciting. Seeing Khabib on Embedded has been an absolute joy to see him happy, working with teammates. I can see Khabib in the near future, or if he's really, really done, becoming one of the greatest UFC coaches of all time also. He works with the guys. He's breaking them down. He's teaching them things that they need to know, and he's not he's very humbled about it. He wants to help people. He's not doing it. You can tell by his demeanor, like, he means very well. And I'm kind of excited for Coach Khabib. I think that'd be cool. I would love to see him fight again, but Coach Khabib, like, maybe he opened his own gym or something like that. Like, that could be some heavy hitters coming from there, man. Real heavy hitters. But, Makhachev is currently the 14th best fighter, my apologies, in the lightweight division. He has a 6-fight winning streak at the moment. He has 3 wins by knockout, 7 by submission, and 8 by decision. And he also has 6 first-round finishes with a combination of knockouts and submissions. In his last fight at UFC 242 in September 2019, Makhachev defeated Davi Ramos by unanimous decision. It was his second straight winning result by unanimous decision and 4th out of the last 6 contests. It's important the veteran grappler doesn't rush to stand-up changes. He's a very he likes to counterpunch, is what I'm trying to say. And he's not like Dober in the sense of the explosion, dynamic power where it all just comes at you so quick. Makhachev he takes his time, but when he hits you, he does land, and that's the thing that works for him. But his goal is to slow down Dober. He needs to try to go for the legs. I'm going to say that for mostly everyone because the calf kick is so prominent in the UFC now. But Islam has to go for the legs and slow down Drew Dober, because it's just, in the end, it's going to be difficult for him. Drew Dober is 23-9 with 1 no contest. He's currently ranked the 15th best fighter in the lightweight division. He's also on a 3-fight winning streak, with his latest fight resulting in a TKO win against Alexander Hernandez back in May of 2020. He has a balanced winning section composed of 10 wins by knockout, 6 by submission, and 7 by decision. He also has 8 wins resulting in first-round finishes, with 4 by submission and 4 by knockout. His punches have very real power, he has great combination, and he has great defensive wrestling. Now here, Dober may not like the hype surrounding Makhachev, but you got to respect it with Khabib in his corner and how good he's been performing. That's the GOAT. That's honestly, in my opinion, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Khabib in the octagon, no matter how he's got his victories, he's the GOAT. But there's a variety of reasons why I think Makhachev will win via submission. My pick is he will win via submission, Makhachev. But there's a variety of reasons why I believe this. But in the end of it, you just got to know it's Khabib. This kid is taking everything Khabib is telling him and teaching him and actually utilizing it in the ring. It's phenomenal to watch, and it's very exciting to see Khabib in that coaching stance and in that situation, and to see someone like Makhachev receive the information and succeed so well with it. It's very, very entertaining and very impressive. But yeah, Makhachev wins via submission over Drew Dober. That is my choice. All right, Jan versus Aljamain Sterling at Bantamweight. All right, I don't want to be biased here at all. Jan's an amazing fighter, but Aljamain Sterling needs to be the champion. I've always liked the guy, but after watching Embedded, all 6 episodes this week, I'm rooting for Aljamain Sterling so hard to win this title. I think it'd be a wonderful thing for the UFC. He's a great personality. He's someone that can stand in front of the camera. He's someone that can get out there and entertain people physically through fights and through his personality. He's a cool dude. But I just want to say I am biased towards this fight for Aljamain Sterling. But let's break it down. Jan 15-1. Jan is the new champion of a Division on fighter. This will be his first title defense. And it's his first fight since UFC 251 at Fight Island. Man, I forgot about that. But looking at his resume, his only defeat came by split decision back in 2016. Since joining the UFC, he has a perfect 7-0 record. Jan has proved to be an outstanding striker, especially with a master of sport in boxing and MMA. He also has struck 6 out of his 7 opponents in the UFC. This this thing that I'm trying to think about how I can explain it. This thing about Petrie that makes him so good is that he was like slightly unknown, and his fighting style is so interesting. Like there's not a lot of people that fight like Petrie Jan, and that's why I kind of do like him, and I think it will be a tough match for Aljamain Sterling because I don't think Aljamain has sparred or gone up to anybody like Petrie Jan. He is a crazy dude. He knows how to land his punches, and he may seem like he's all over the place, but he's accurate most of the time with what he's throwing, even if his body is showing something else. It's very interesting, his style of fighting. But Jan has great Muay Thai experience. I think that'll help against Sterling's lengthy build, but we never know. That's the thing. You know, Jan might try to get a takedown, and Aljamain Sterling hits him with an uppercut, or he gets that takedown and puts Aljamain Sterling in submission, and then it's over. It's just so unpredictable. And we really don't know what's going to happen, and that's what makes these fights so well. Starting out with this first championship fight of the night at Bantamweight. But, you know, Aljamain Sterling, he's 19-3. He's the top-ranked fighter in the division, right behind Jan. He has 2 more losses than the current champion, and he's looking at it 3 split decisions not too long ago. But Jan, you know, he's beatable. Jan is very, very beatable. You know, and Sterling's here for a reason, and he believes he's here for a reason, and he believes he's deserving of the belt already. And he's at the age of 31. He's in his prime right now. Physically looks insane. I would not want to fight him, to be honest with you. But you can see it in his eyes. You can see in his demeanor. He's happy to be here. He's taking it all in. He's excited, but he's not distracted by the fact that this is a huge event. And I think he's going to capitalize on it. I really do. I think Jan is a great fighter, but I think Aljamain Sterling is an incredible fighter. His all-around game is very, very impressive, and I hope it comes to display tonight. This is the thing. I'm picking Aljamain Sterling, but I can see it going to decision, but I'm gonna speak this into existence. I want Aljamain Sterling to win via TKO in the 3rd round. I can see it's probably not gonna end the 1st or 2nd round. These are smaller guys. They don't hit as hard, but holy crap, this is going to be an insane fight, and I honestly can't wait. And speaking of insane fights, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Nunes makes a return to the octagon. The greatest of all time. The Lioness. And she's taking on Megan Anderson for the Women's Flyweight Championship of the World. The challenger, Megan Anderson. She's 11-4. She's currently on a 2-fight winning streak. And she's probably Amanda Nunes' toughest opponent to date. She has a balanced resume of 6 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and 2 by decision. She also has 6 first-round finishes with a combined effort of knockouts and submissions. Anderson began her martial arts training with Muay Thai, and ever since then has not stopped with the grind. She's an incredible fighter. She has great stand-up. She's very, very tall. She's lengthy. She has the reach. And like I said, she can beat Amanda. And if someone's going to beat Amanda, I can see it being Megan. I can see this becoming a trilogy situation or a big, like, I feel like this is what Amanda needs at this point. And I feel like this is what Megan needs at this point. And mark my words, Megan's going to be very memorable after tonight, win or loss. But she's going to leave it all out there. She's been training for this fight for 7 months because the fight did get canceled before. But on and off, she's been grinding. But if you think Megan's just going to go in there and get knocked out like most of these other people, I highly doubt it. I don't think we're going to see a Chris Cyborg, Amanda Nunes situation again. But, man, 11-4, Megan Anderson, she has what it takes to do it. And she could possibly do it. But, yeah, the title holder, Amanda Lioness Nunes, 20-4. Nunes is currently the Women's Flyweight Champion of the world. She is also on an 11-fight winning streak that has dated back several years. She has 13 wins by knockout, 3 by submission, and 4 by decision. She also has 13 first-round finishes with a combination of knockouts and submissions. I mean, we can keep going. Nunes is unstoppable. She is the queen of UFC. She is the almighty one when it comes to just badass, like being badass. There's nothing that she does that isn't just absolutely amazing. She has power. She has speed. She's not very vulnerable in the octagon. She's very forceful. She goes in there, gets what she wants, which is a dub, and she goes. I mean, she's defeated Chris Cyborg, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, Miesha Tate, Valentina Shevchenko, Jermaine Durandamine, Sarah McMahon, Raquel Pennington. I mean, those names right there, if someone said, hey, name the greatest women fighters of all time, it's Chris Cyborg, Ronda Rousey, Holly Holm, like Shevchenko. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, she is, if there was a Mount Rushmore, they would just knock it down and put her on the rock. That's how good she is. But I'm hyping her up because I want to hype her up to show that Megan Anderson is also a great fighter and could possibly beat Amanda Nunes and be in this list of names. Or she's going to be in the list of names on a bad note as the loser. But we'll see. I'm excited. You know, Amanda Nunes has her flaws. Megan has her flaws. But at the end of the day, Nunes is going to get the win by knockout. Most likely. That's just how it's going to happen. She's too darn good. There's nothing like her in the UFC. It's going to be a long time until someone in the women's division, any division, can do what she can do. Shout out to Shevchenko, great fighter, and like Holly Holm and them. But Amanda is doing something that we have never seen in the women's division in the UFC, and she's killing it. And I wish her the best. I wish Megan the best, and I'm excited for a ruthless brawl that's going to take place. This Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson could possibly be the most gruesome fight of the night and possibly one of the most gruesome fights of the year because they're not going to let go, and they're going to go for it, and they're both tough SOBs. But, yeah, Amanda Nunes wins by knockout. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the main event. Jan Blachowicz versus the Last Stylebender, the great one, Israel Adesanya. This is for the light heavyweight title, ladies and gentlemen. Israel Adesanya is the middleweight champion. Jan is the light heavyweight champion. And Israel Adesanya is coming to take that from Jan. He wants both those belts. He wants that picture of him in the octagon holding both of those things. Who doesn't? Adesanya wants to be great, and that's just on the ladder to being great. A 2-division champ. All right, don't let me get ahead of myself. All right, Jan, he's 27-8. He stands as the light heavyweight champion of the world after Jon Jones relinquished the title and went to heavyweight. He beat Dominic Reyes in September of 2020, brutally beat Dominic Reyes, deformed his face, put him down, had him bleeding, had him seeing things. That knockout got him the light heavyweight title. And now, with 8 wins by knockout, 9 by submission, and 10 by decision, he is here to take on the challenger, Israel Adesanya. I mean, Jan is 38 years old, and he's gone on an impressive run from 4 straight victories over Luke Rockhold, Ronaldo Souza, Corey Anderson, and then Dominic Reyes, with 3 of those fights not going to scorecards. Outside of a knockout loss to Thiago Santos, the Polish fighter has won 8 of his last 9 fights. You know, Blachowicz enters the octagon with a professional fighting record of 27-8, like I mentioned, and as the champion of the division. You know, he is seen in Poland as a national hero. He's meeting the prime minister. He's hanging out with all these people. He has that fire under him to do well. He's not just fighting for himself. He's fighting for Poland. He's fighting for his people. He's fighting for his team. It's something a lot deeper for him. He loves this. He loves representing his country and his native land. And I think that's interesting. Mix that with ruthless power and aggression and accuracy, because he's the nicest guy. But when he steps in the ring or knows that he has to turn it on, Jan's freaking terrifying. I'm not going to lie. That dude is gnarly. Just the way he looks at people or the way he stares you down or just walks towards you when the fight starts. Hell nah, I'm cool. No, thank you whatsoever. But like I said, mix that with wanting to defend the title now that he has it, that he wants to hold on to it. They say it's harder for someone to win the title than to hold on to it, because when you want that title, you're eager. You're doing everything you can do to get to that title, right? But once you have the title, that's when you're like, okay, I got to defend this thing. This is mine. I want to keep it. Let's lock and load. It's a whole different scenario. So I'm excited to see if that does change Jan's fighting style or change how he approaches the fight. But in order to beat Adesanya, he's got to put him down. You know, Adesanya is insane. Adesanya, the last stylebender. You know, he's 20-0. He's the middleweight champion of the world. I mean, what else do we have to say after what he did to Paulo Costa? Size does not matter. Paulo Costa is pretty much a light heavyweight fighter. He's not really a middleweight fighter. He puts on outstanding amounts of weight after weigh-ins. So Adesanya put him down easily. But Adesanya has 15 wins by knockout, 5 by decision, and he has 7 first-round knockout finishes. He walks into this Sunday main event with a professional record, like I said, of 20-0. He is potentially building himself as the GOAT. He destroyed Robert Whittaker. He destroyed Paulo Costa. I mean, he had one of the greatest fights of all time against Kevin Gastelum, which is in the Hall of Fame now. I mean, shout out to Kevin Gastelum. He's the only one that stayed in the ring with him all 5 rounds. Or was it 3? I can't remember. I'm not sure. But Adesanya is one tough dude. And he is one very, 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 very talented athlete. He can get in the pocket. He can get out. He can move how he needs to move. He's so creative with his combinations and his question mark kicks. He's honestly like a praying mantis. You just don't see it. And I think for Jan, being as big as he is and as muscular as he is, it's going to be a lot different fighting Adesanya. I mean, he has to adjust. This isn't another heavyweight fighter where he just has to block a couple and then get his in. Adesanya might hit him with a jab, back up, throw a question mark kick, spinning back. Who knows what Adesanya is going to do? And I honestly think Jan is nervous about that. I really do. But this is a hard one in some sense. In my mind, I know who I want to win, but when I'm really trying to break it down, I have to think here. But this is an excellent striking matchup. It's going to be a fast-paced fight. Both fighters are very dominant in their respective divisions, but size does not matter. Blachowicz is a very, very muscular big dude, and Adesanya is not. But Adesanya is precise. He has that talent. He has that power. He can put it on your nose in a heartbeat, and I think that's gonna happen. And I think Adesanya is gonna just give so much to Jan, and he's going to get hit. I can see Adesanya getting knocked down a couple times, but they're both going to get knocked down. This fight might not end in the first round. It might go to second or third, but this is going to be insane, and I'm excited for it. But yeah, I got Adesanya winning TKO, baby. You already know, the last stylebender. Hopefully here soon, the 2-time division or the 2-division champ at middleweight and light heavyweight. And then I hope he wins the title, and then Jon Jones gets salty and then comes back to light heavyweight to challenge him and starts crying, saying, Dana, I need to fight. And then Adesanya knocks out Jon Jones, and then Jon Jones will go do whatever he wants from there. I hope the best for Adesanya in this fight. I hope the best for all these fighters. I'm very pumped for these fights. I think the whole world is. Anybody that's a fan of UFC or anybody that has half a brain that is interested in the fights, if you're not watching tonight, I'm sorry, you don't need to watch any other events, because this is the one to watch. Don't miss it. UFC 259, early prelims start at 5:15 p.m. on UFC Fight Pass. And then the preliminary card is for everybody on ESPN, not ESPN Plus, and that starts at 8 p.m. And then finally tonight at 10 p.m. from the UFC Apex, UFC 259 pay-per-view. Make sure you snag that pay-per-view. You can get that through ESPN Plus or however else they're doing it. I'm not sure. I think it's just through ESPN Plus. But yeah, man, I'm super pumped. Bruce Buffer's in the building tonight. Got the whole gang in the building tonight. Joe Rogan's there. John Anik. Everybody. DC's there. It's going to be a heck of a show. We also got Dominic Cruz fighting in the he's headlining the preliminary card. Joseph Benavidez is also up in there. You got Tim Elliott fighting Jordan Espinoza. Like, I mean, this card is so stacked that Tim Elliott and Jordan Espinoza is the main event for the early prelims. That should just say something right there. That's all I need to say. UFC 259, make sure you check it out. 3 title fights on the line tonight. Bantamweight, women's flyweight, and then the light heavyweight champion of the world. But that's pretty much all I got for you guys. I appreciate you guys watching. And please, please, if you're going to watch some fights, watch these fights tonight. They're going to be outstanding. But all right, guys, thank you. I'm your host, Jalen Walker, and this is Pound for Pound. Peace.